All right.
Are we live? Is it happening?
We're live.
Oh wow, look at that. Hey, we're back. We never left. We've just been sitting here for a week waiting to record the next show. I have like mushrooms growing on me and stuff. It's getting kind of weird. Episode 13, I believe.
That's what I'm looking up right now.
Wow, we're so good at this. I felt like it'd be really appropriate to have episode 13. Well, it's closer to Halloween, but
Yep, you're dead on. 13.
They're episode 13, because one of us has to keep track of that shit. But we'll pretend it's close to Halloween right now, and this is the spooky episode. Ooh.
It's a ghost.
Ooh. Was that your monster mash? It was actually pretty good. Have you been practicing?
It's not as good as my Hank Hill.
Oh man, I don't think I've heard Hank Hill. Are you gonna do that for us right now?
You haven't heard me talk about propane and propane accessories?
That's good. I like it. So if anybody needs a voice actor, Chris is looking for work.
I'd take that in a second.
So I had a busy weekend. I'm still trying to recover from the lack of sleep I've gotten this weekend. It's kind of crazy. Our lives are very busy. This is like my one night at my apartment, and then I got to go to Virginia for work, and then after that I go to Maryland for a concert. It's just nonstop craziness. But I did, in all this craziness, manage to go to New York City this weekend for New York Comic Con.
And I'm jealous.
And boy, did I come back with a lot of goodies. Not even physical goodies. I didn't buy one pop figure. I'm very proud of myself. Although Chris isn't happy because I couldn't get the pop figure that he wanted.
I appreciate the effort, but yeah, it's kind of.
I was messaging people that were in line, strangers that were in line. I was talking to them. They were trying to, but apparently the doors opened at 10 a.m. They were sold out by noon, and when I say sold out by noon, like there was a line still there. Like people didn't get up to the booth till 2 p.m. It was like people are camping out starting at 1 a.m. just for Toy Tokyo. Like Toy Tokyo runs the line now. It's getting pretty crazy. I was very fortunate to have a 3-day pass. This is the first year I've gone all 3 days. So Friday started off. The line was wrapped all the way around Javits Center, like almost complete once wrapped around, which is crazy for a Friday. Usually Friday's a slower day. So we get in. Actually, while everybody's lining up for the doors, this is story time, kids. By the way, I don't know. I'm not rambling. We're gonna tell some stories. So, when you get in the line and they usher you in like you get cattle, like a herd of cattle, and you're like 30 people wide waiting for the doors to open. We're standing there waiting for the doors to open, and I look behind me. I'm like, they built a whole cabin in the parking lot for the Evil Dead show. Like there's a whole cabin they built. So we're like, well, instead of waiting in line just to get into the Comic-Con, why don't we wait in line to walk through this cabin that they built? So we're like first in line for the cabin because like nobody was paying attention to that. That opened at 10 a.m. We got to go through the Evil Dead cabin, which is pretty awesome. They gave us some free stuff. I mean, Comic-Con has tons of stuff set up like that. The whole DC section was all the Wonder Woman costumes from the movie, which is pretty sweet. We ended up getting in like an hour later, like 11 o'clock, and there was still room in the Bat Family panel for the comics, all the Batman comics. So we got front row for that. It was very bizarre. Like we were definitely not front of the line, but nobody seemed to grab the front row because they thought it was reserved, but it wasn't. So we got right in the front row. Saturday came around, and I knew Saturday was going to be a lot busier than Friday, so we decided to hang out at Madison Square Garden. My sister and I camped out for 6 hours. It was probably the most I've ever camped out for. So basically, the way they had it set up in Madison Square Garden this year, if you got in for the first panel, you stayed for the rest of the day. And that's where the Walking Dead panel was that Saturday night, so obviously there were crazy fans there. but I got to see the John Wick Power Ranger panel, the Great Wall panel with Matt Damon, the Troll Hunters panel, which is the new Netflix show by Guillermo del Toro, and then last but not least, the Walking Dead panel, obviously, which I got some great stuff to talk about once we get to those subjects of the show. But it was great. I mean, we got to sit down for most of the day and got to see every panel. We were third row. It was pretty fantastic, especially seeing the John Wick panel up on the giant screen. And people were like, "Oh, well, they released the trailers right after online and stuff." But I'm like, it's just the energy of being there, and like everybody being super pumped up for all that's going on.
There's nothing like a good panel at a convention. They're always like a lot of fun. It's good, like to see people.
Yeah, and like to say that I got to see Keanu Reeves, and he even did like this. He did this like Bill and Ted thing where before they dropped the trailer, he got up and he's like, "I guarantee it's gonna rock," and he like headbanged and like, I'm like, Keanu, what are you doing, man? Everyone was like, what is happening? But it was fantastic. And then Sunday rolls around. We were gonna walk the whole floor on Sunday, do some shopping, but it was like Kids Day, which I've never experienced Sunday at New York Comic Con. It was awful. Like it was packed like a Saturday, but then there were just kids everywhere too. So like you couldn't do anything. I mean, it was crazy.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it was real like kids screaming and like bumping into you and stuff they're just like. They're not even there to do anything. Like, they're not paying for things. They're not waiting in line. They're just bumping into you. That's literally all they're there for is like, looking at the pretty colors and lights and bumping into people. That's all they're good for. And I think they must have got in for free or something because, like, none of them had passes. And it was kind of concerning on Sunday because it was so packed that they weren't even checking your bags when you walked in. And I'm like, there's thousands of people here, and you didn't even look in my backpack when I walked in. Like, it's a little concerning, especially in New York City. You think New York City would be better about those things, but
yeah, especially.
Yeah.
Take a sip of water.
Yes, I almost lost I've been doing a lot of talking right now. Not different than any other show episode, but. So that's it I got for right now. I mean, I got some goodies to talk about when we get to the subjects of that stuff in the show. But yeah, Comic-Con was great. I recommend it. I don't recommend you bring your 3 or 4 kids on Sunday because it just confirms that I still am very, very hateful towards children. I didn't like it to begin with, and now man, when you raid hell on my Comic-Con, that's yeah, you're going further down the list.
I've always felt that there's just like certain places for where children should not be, and like it's cool to it's cool to bring your kid to the Comic-Con, but I don't know. I think there should be an age barrier there. I would be worried as a parent to bring like a small child there because you know how easy it'd be to lose your kid.
Oh, like I lose my friends when I'm there. Like it's. I get lost. I wouldn't even know what to do if a kid got lost. Like, because at least you could call your friends, or you have somewhere you could pull off to the side and start looking for people. You lose a kid in there, you're not going to find them. It's just, it's nuts. But
I have a hard enough time keeping track of my girlfriend's son when we're in like Hot Topic or something.
And those are just shirts that are in your way. Imagine if they're like human beings pushing you and stuff. Oh man, it was like some people are just. I mean, I get it's New York City and stuff, but some people just shove you out of the way and they have no regard for anything. And a lot of the people there, I mean, you're gonna get the type of people that it's their first time leaving the house in a long time. So I'm like, we're over at the Cyanide and Happiness booth, and the Cyanide Happiness, if you don't know what that is, it's a fantastic internet cartoon, or not cartoon, I'm sorry, webcomic that they do, a daily webcomic. It's hilarious. I think it's explosum.net. You can check it out. But so if you pay $30, they've always done a thing where they'll do a sketch for you if you buy their merchandise. Well, we're standing a street awkward. man. You know, Cyanide Happiness, they do a little more than just draw stick figures. But, like, they're being good sports about it. Like, yeah, man, he's like, I could probably do that. And they're like, all right, you're hired. Like, come on over. And, like, one of the guys is like, yeah, we draw stick figures, but then we get crazy requests like this. And he's holding up, like an elephant doing something crazy. And it's like, you get some of the craziest requests. Like, I was standing there, literally some guy comes up next to me, and they're like, do you have an idea what you want for a comic? And he's like, yeah, can you draw me a tuba player and a Jew? Yeah, work with that. And I was like, what? What? Like, there's no way he came up with that off the top of his head. That guy was planning that the whole week of what he was going to have Cyanide and Happiness draw for him.
Oh, yeah.
The guy was like...
That was his thing.
He was mocking him.
That was his thing coming up to this con, like, oh, I need to see these guys. Got the tuba player and the Jew joke.
Yeah. I was like, we just kind of looked over him like, dude, what? A tuba player and a Jew? Like, I don't get your humor. Maybe it's not for me, but no, it was just funny because like the guy was like heckling them while they're drawing, and they obviously have a line wrapped around their boots, so they're doing something right. Like, move along. Yeah, but overall, it's a good time. Anyways, so what happened to you this weekend? Anything exciting? Can you top that?
I think I can. I went to a pumpkin patch. And went on a hayride.
A hayride?
So I was on the back of a tractor with a trailer behind it. And I built a train set. That was pretty awesome.
That does sound pretty cool. But they didn't have any train sets at Comic-Con.
And I also, to something comic related, I finally... I can't remember, it was, a year and a half, 2 years ago I bought this comic. And I finally decided to start reading Y the Last Man.
Oh my god, stop the presses. That is awesome. And how far did you get?
About two and a half issues in.
So nowhere. You're nowhere closer than when you started.
Yeah, it's at the missus' house. All the men are dead. There's some weird slave shit going on with a garbage truck. I don't know what the fuck's happening, but
yeah. You'll get there. You got about 50 more issues to go. Alright, so there's a lot of stuff happening. A lot of stuff dropped this weekend, especially for movies. Let's I know you probably haven't finished John Wick yet, but we're going to talk about the John Wick 2 trailer.
All right.
They rolled the footage at Comic-Con, and holy crap, at the end of it, we get Morpheus. So we get the oh man, why can I not think of his name? I'll think of it. But anyways, they did that huge reveal, like you heard his voice, and then Lawrence Fishburne, that's his name. But you heard his voice, and then they showed him on the rooftop, and you're like, oh my god, Neo and Morpheus are teaming up once again. But we don't really know what his character... He might be he looks like a retired assassin or something. He's like feeding pigeons on a roof, and he's dressed like a bum. So I don't know. Don't know what his character is yet, but they kind of explained the movie as the first one, but better. So there's definitely more action, which is like, I don't even know how you could top the first one, but the choreography looks ridiculous. It looks so good. And they even had like this. They showed us some footage of like a sizzle reel kind of making the movie and stuff, and they showed like Keanu Reeves. You know, he's really doing those stunts where he's rolling around and like is shooting people and stuff. They showed him like shooting like 10 targets in under so many seconds, and like even it shows like the camera guys doing the scenes and like watching the scenes as he's doing them. They're like, holy shit. Like, watching him do it, it's awesome, dude. He's in his prime. He's loving it too. He was so like energetic panel. Didn't tell us what happens to the dog in this one, and we're really hoping they don't kill it. I hope they don't kill the dog in this. Like, come on. We've already established they killed the dog once. We don't need to kill him again. that was fantastic. So the Power Rangers trailer. Did you see the Power Rangers trailer?
Oh, did I?
Yeah. And what did you think?
I loved it. It was. It was like
it was great.
It was a little bit of cheesy, and a little bit of nostalgia, and a lot of awesomeness.
Yeah, and can I tell you before they even played that trailer, they brought the whole cast out, and that cast, they're all so like, they have such awesome chemistry because like they even said when they first all knew that they're all casted. They all. I mean, they're all from different parts of the world. Like one girl lives in England. The other girl is, I think, from Mexico, or she's Latino or something. I don't think she lives in the U.S. Or she's not from the U.S. Well, the other guy is he's Scottish, I think, or something. And then there's obviously the Asian kid who lives in Tokyo. Started a group text, and then they met up and stuff, and they even hung out, like, even when they weren't required to hang out, and you could tell that they're all just having a good time with it. And it's great because that whole movie, is going to be based on them building a friendship, and it kind of happened while they were building a real friendship too. So it's all kind of the timeline's kind of the same. Then they rolled that trailer. Okay, we didn't even see any Zords yet, and it was still awesome.
Yeah. We barely even saw Power Rangers.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. All we saw was just a bunch of teenagers, like, having issues. I mean, that's all we saw.
And it seems like they went with, like... It's been a long time since I've watched Power Rangers, so forgive me, but I don't remember them having, like, superpowers.
No, it was always the suits, and that was the thing. Like, they always got in crappy situations where they had to morph into the suits, but... This is like I think the suit is like genetically like integrated with them somehow. Yeah,
it seems like they're going kind of to make it into a semi-superhero Avengers-ish kind of movie.
Which is fine. I mean, like, you got to adapt it to this age.
Oh yeah, I'm cool with that. It's because it seems like a lot of fun.
I think it looks awesome, and I mean, they talked about the Zords. They said it's all coming. I mean, obviously, we're gonna get more trailers. They can't just show everything right away. They confirmed Goldar. Do you remember him? He was like the golden like bat thing with like wings. That was one of Rita Repulsa's henchmen.
Oh Jesus!
He was like one of the. Oh my god! They started naming characters. We're like, oh man, we're gonna get it all. This is great.
Played by Danny DeVito.
Oh hell yeah! Rita Repulsa looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks. And so what she says in the trailer is kind of interesting to me. She says, "I've killed Power Rangers before," right?
Yeah.
Is this? Like, take all my money. If this is like a continuation, like if they do a flashback or like show some pictures of the original cast, like, dude, I'm gonna see that movie 5 times. Like they're a generational thing to where like, they're chosen to uphold the mantle or whatever, and then they get killed by Rita Repulsa. That'd be pretty awesome. What else? I mean, all the characters seem to be pretty good from what the little we've seen of them. But they're all the angsty teenagers, and I just think it looks good.
Yeah, it seems to me like an Avengers movie mixed with Spider-Man and Blue Beetle.
Yep, for sure.
Where like it's definitely like a high school movie and a teen superhero movie, and it seems like the suits and the powers feel like Blue Beetle to me, like they're coming from somewhere else.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, this story's been done a ton of times before. I mean, but
yeah,
it doesn't have the Power Ranger name on it.
That's not a diss. It's that's what it feels like to me, and that's what has me excited about it.
All that's missing is the guitar solo. I'm waiting for it. I know. Like the third trailer is going to drop, and they're going to have that.
Well, whoever's doing the marketing behind this movie knows exactly what they're going for, because when those posters came out that were the individual Rangers they were like standing in like heroic positions.
Yeah.
And it just said at the bottom, go, go.
Yeah, yep.
I knew that these people knew what they were doing.
Oh, dude, and I could probably post the picture on our Facebook, but before they all left, we got them to, the crowd got the actors to do their Power Ranger poses, like assembled like the Ginyu Force style, where they're all posing, and then we took pictures of them like they're all in their fighting poses. Dude, it was awesome.
That's fantastic.
And we got free posters of the individual Power Rangers, and of course the Black Ranger went instantly. Like everybody took that one first because it looked badass. But it was funny because like they brought the one thing I didn't like about the panels at Madison Square Garden was instead of asking questions to the crowd that like they were taking questions from Twitter, which it was very strange to me.
Yeah, that takes away a little bit from being there.
Yeah,
to me.
Yeah, it's like why would you not? We're sitting here trying to ask questions. But it was good, and obviously people were asking, like a ton of people started screaming questions about the Green Ranger, and they were just kind of ignoring that right now. Like, what's gonna happen with the Green Ranger? What are we doing with the Green Ranger? Nothing yet. There's been no confirm or denying. I'm sure if it's anything, it might be like an after credits scene. I think in the first one.
That was gonna be what I was gonna say. Is it's got to be a stinger? Like that's got to be the stinger. Is like someone picking up the helmet or something,
or like finding the last broken piece of whatever that alien thing is.
Yeah,
and then it's like Matt Damon.
Ben Affleck is the Green Ranger.
The Green Ranger. Why is he's so much taller than everyone? And he's like 40. What the hell?
I'm pretty sure the guy's not in high school.
He will chaperone the Ranger.
None of them have driver's license, so someone needs to drive them around.
After 9 p.m. Come on, guys, we gotta fight crime. Oh, but the Green Ranger's gotta drive. We can't drive this late with our permits.
Oh, we can't, guys. It's after 9.
The Power Rangers get arrested for driving after 9 p.m.
You got us again, Rita Repulsa.
That would be great. Yeah, but from what we've seen, I thought it was awesome.
It looks sweet.
And I'm not... I was there, obviously, for the Great Wall trailer. That was the first panel we saw all day. And I wasn't really on board with that movie until I found out, like, who was directing it and stuff. Have you ever seen, like, what's it called? The House of Flying Daggers?
No.
Or Hero? Well, this guy, the guy who's directing it is, I can't even pronounce his name. His last name's Zhang. Yemo Zhang, or something like that. Emo? I think his name's Emo. But he's like a great visionary director. And I haven't watched any of his movies, so today I started House of Flying Daggers, and it's fantastic. But this is the first movie that he's like releasing it in the U.S. first, and it's like, it's about the Great Wall was built to keep out monsters, and Matt Damon shows up with Pedro Pascal, who's from Game of Thrones. And it looks good. I mean, it's cool because, like, there's people that protect the wall, and they're all divided by colors. Like, each color has their own task. So all the women are the blue color, and they're like they're kind of like the bungee jumping team. So like they tie ropes to themselves and they just launch themselves off the wall. Like that's what their team does. It's like crazy, and it was awesome to see it like on such a big screen that it was just awesome. It's so visually stunning that I'm actually really excited for it. I'm gonna go see it when it comes out. But yeah, and it's crazy they had to have over 100 translators on the movie because like most of the actors don't speak English. They're all Chinese.
Yeah, and there was something on that movie because a lot of people were discussing the whitewashing of that movie.
Yeah.
And a lot has come out about that, and it's actually been said that the two, Matt Damon and his co-star there, are actually playing Pedro are playing mercenaries that come to the wall in search of something. They're not playing Chinese individuals, so I think take that in effect when you go to look it up. It's I think the whitewashing thing was blown out of proportion with that movie.
No, yeah, it really was. I mean, the second trailer kind of explains it more. That it's more like Matt Damon and Pedro show up, and he kind of says we've always fought for something that never. It was either money or kings or gods that it was. But this is actually something like they're keeping out monsters that could destroy the whole Earth. It's basically Godzilla. Kinda, but I mean, they don't even show the monsters though. It's like at that point, I don't even care about the monsters. It's so visually stunning that it's just the colors of the uniforms and stuff, and the whole second trailer kind of tells you why Matt Damon's on board of fighting the monsters. But it's funny because at the panel when he came out, someone was like Matt Damon, and he was like, I hear that all the time. Wherever I go, it's like I hear that. It's like it still happens all the time. It's fantastic.
As it will for the rest of that man's life.
Oh yeah, he's done for. It was a really interesting panel, and I'm excited. It was good. Doctor Strange tickets went on sale. Did you get your ticket yet?
No.
I was gonna get it for Thursday, but for some reason the theater near me doesn't have Thursday tickets for sale yet.
I really want to see it. I think it's gonna be a great movie, but the only movie that I feel it's worth going out and getting early tickets is Star Wars.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
And I feel like this one's one of those movies where the week before I'll make plans with the missus and we'll get it. We'll have no problem getting tickets.
Yeah. I might go see it that weekend. I'm not really in a rush to go see it during the week.
That or actually, I might have spoken there. I think I actually plan on going to see it with my father because it's that's his favorite comic book growing up.
Oh, really? Doctor Strange?
Yeah. So.
Isn't that strange? No, but even if someone tried to spoil something for me, I wouldn't even know what they're like. Oh, Baron Mordo and all that. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I know very little Doctor Strange.
Yeah, so it's very hard to spoil it for me.
All I know is that the newest run that Jason Aaron's doing is amazing, so you should all read it.
Was it? Okay. Maybe I'll buy that trade. I should check it out. Yeah, I think that's it for movies right now. Nothing really else. Oh, I did that Max Steel movie came out this week, and I heard it was pretty good.
Yeah.
He's like a superhero or something. That's all I know is he's a hero.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into it more, but I heard it's actually pretty good.
The only other big movie thing that happened was, I mean, you know me well enough to know that I'm a huge Planet of the Apes fan.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
And they did do a teaser for War of the Planet of the Apes. It was a very short and subtle teaser. It was Caesar giving a little monologue.
Yeah.
And you could tell it's gonna have a winter setting because they showed snow coming across his face.
So it's the Battle of Hoth with apes.
That would be fantastic. But so basically, it's just confirming that exists still and that it's happening, as if we had a doubt.
Yeah,
that's something I will be looking forward to.
Speaking of that, they've announced Green Lantern Planet of the Apes crossover.
Really?
Yes. Just like the Green Lantern Star Trek, they're doing the Green Lantern Planet of the Apes.
They're right now doing a Tarzan Planet of the Apes crossover.
Uh-huh.
And it's actually really... they only done one issue, but the first issue was really good.
Really?
It's just what if Tarzan grew up on the Planet of the Apes?
He'd probably fit right in, right?
Yeah.
It's like growing up in a jungle, basically. Spoilers, nothing different happened, really. He still swings from things. I don't know.
But that'd be interesting. Green Lantern, Planet of the Apes, seems like they could do some cool stuff.
Yeah. And it's the way they did it with Star Trek. Obviously, every one of the Star Trek characters gets their own ring. So I wonder how.
Oh my god!
Can you imagine one of the apes getting like the general getting like the rage, like the Red Lantern?
I'm assuming they said it's going to be like the original Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I haven't looked into it, but I'm pretty sure it's the original.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, because like some of them are just so pissed off. They make great Red Lanterns if you think about it, like giving into their primal instincts.
Yeah.
Because that's the basis of Planet of the Apes is rage. So I would guess that it's going to have something to do with Red Lantern. Rage. That would be awesome.
It's going to be really excited.
Yep. Chris is thinking about it now. He's like, oh man, I got to go put this on my poll list. TV show time. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, The Walking Dead, and that teaser that got released. Did you see it?
No.
Okay, so are you caught up in The Walking Dead? I can't remember this.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the teaser basically, you got to go watch it. Like after we finish this, you're gonna watch it. But it's basically. It pops up like we didn't think we were getting anything at Comic-Con, and it pops up. Rick is like all sweaty. He has blood on this side of his face. So, like whoever's sitting on his right is the one who got killed. So he has blood on his face, and he just like looks up at Negan and goes, "I'm gonna kill you." And then Negan like looks at him and goes, "What?" He's like, "It's not gonna happen now, but I will kill you." And Negan just like stares at him, and that like 10 seconds that he just stares at him, it's like the most intense scene of The Walking Dead yet. And like you could see Negan's holding Lucille, and Lucille's all bloody. So this is after he's killed whoever he's killed. And he goes, what did you what weapon did he bring with him? He asked one of the guys, and they say, oh, he brought a hatchet. And then he starts giving a speech about a right-hand man having a right-hand man. And so he grabs the hatchet and he puts it in his belt, and the scene ends with him dragging Rick into the trailer with him and just slamming the door shut with the hatchet. So you could basically say goodbye to Rick's right hand.
That would be amazing if they did that.
Now, the end of the scene, you see blood on the ground and like brains. What also someone picked up is there's a wedding ring in the blood, and it looks like the wedding ring that Glenn gave to Maggie. You can look it up online. There's probably a photo somewhere. Someone circled it out in the photo. Now, that's all speculation, but I will say this. I was talking to some people about this. When I was at the panel, they made a comment about this being the end of this season will be their 99th episode, and the start of season 8, the season after this one, will be their 100th episode. Chris Hartwig was asking each actor their own question. Then he got to the actress who plays Maggie, and he asked her a question about like Maggie's in some rough shape right now, being sick and stuff. And then he started asking her something about the character, and she kind of broke down in tears and was like, we're so grateful and thankful for you guys, hearing that 100 episode thing. It's, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And it was almost like a goodbye speech. I mean, you can find the panel online. But then Kirkman and the producers are kind of looking at each other like, I hope she doesn't say anything. But this is all speculation. It's not spoilers because, everybody's been speculating about it. That's what makes it a good television show. Like, up until the point we got to the panel, we're arguing about it in line with other people of who they killed, So it's like, but everyone's like, oh, if it's Maggie, that'd be awful. I'm like, it'll be awful if it's any one of the characters because they're all pretty important characters that they have lined up right now. But my thought, okay, so this is my thinking behind it. Whether it was Glenn or Maggie, I think they would pick Maggie just for the fact that, well, number one, she's already sick, okay? Number two, it's awful because she's pregnant, but we don't need 2 babies being on the show. Having 1 baby around is enough, I would think. Right? I mean, we already had that storyline of trying to raise a child in the Walking Dead universe. The third thing is we've already kind of seen what Maggie's character does when she loses Glenn. Like, she technically lost him once when he was, they thought he was dead, or he wasn't around. And I mean, she kind of like went into denial, and there wasn't a whole lot of change for her character, because she's a pretty strong-willed individual. Now, if Maggie gets killed with the child, I think we're gonna see Glenn go like, Super Saiyan mode on people. Like, he's just not gonna, like, he's always had that moral compass of whether he should be murdering people or not, but I just don't think he's gonna care at all. Like, he's gonna go reckless.
I'm going to stick my foot in the ground and say it has to be Daryl. They can't do it without killing Daryl. You have to hate Negan with every fiber of your being, and that's the only way they can do it.
Yeah.
Killing Maggie doesn't have that effect. Killing Glenn doesn't have that effect. Killing Carl doesn't have that effect. Killing the baby doesn't have that effect. It has to be Daryl. It won't be, but it has to be.
Yeah. Oh man, people would. Yeah, I don't know. It's like it could be anyone. I mean, we obviously know it's not Rick.
There's
but also the blood.
There's only one
blood.
In the TV show. There's only one untouchable, and that's Rick. Yeah. I think in the comic, there's only one untouchable, and it's Carl.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
So.
It's, and the blood is on the side of his face to where he was. The people on that side of him are Abraham and Maggie, though. Like the fresh blood on his face. I don't know if they want you to speculate, though. They're killing us, man. We got like a week. We have 1 week until we find out. They did confirm we will find out in the first episode.
Well, yeah, they have to do it in the first episode.
Dude, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, dude. That's scene. When you watch that trailer after, you're gonna be like, holy crapola. He's fantastic. Yeah, but it's like I saw that and I'm drawn right back in. It's like, those months in between, I kind of just forgot, and now I'm like, damn it, they got me again. Yeah, so that's The Walking Dead. That'll be happening in a week, so I'm sure we'll be talking about that for,
Is that next Sunday?
Yeah, next Sunday, I think so.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, let me check the date right now. But I believe it is, I think so. Yep. Next Sunday. Or the Sunday after, I think it's 2 weeks from now. Either way, it's pretty close. Okay, Flash and Arrow happened last week. I keep forgetting it's Monday for some reason. I lost a week. Flash episode 1 was awesome. It started off, obviously the Flashpoint happened. We got to see. They just threw so many costumes at us. We saw Wally West. We saw Reverse Flash. We saw this new guy named the Rival, who was just in a costume because put everyone in a costume. But Barry finds out that, spoilers, that using his speed, he starts to forget things that happened in his previous life, in the other universe, other timeline. Mm-hmm. So obviously he resets it, the reverse. He has a lot of good conversations, good dialogue with Reverse Flash, where they kind of the Reverse Flash keeps asking him, who's the villain now? You're being selfish and resetting the timeline. How is that any different than what I did? But he's kind of right in the end, But he's kind of you'll be begging me by the end of this to kill your mom for you. And at the end of the episode, that's what he does. He lets him out and has him kill his mom again. So now we've traveled back to that scene about 4 or 5 times now. Where this time they saved the mom and then they killed the mom after saving the mom. So the episode ends where you think Flashpoint's over and Barry goes back home. And he brings up Iris, and Iris isn't part of the family. She hasn't been in touch with the family for a while. So it seems like there's going to be some big changes coming, some repercussions from him coming and going back. So Yeah, it's crazy.
They need to do more repercussions for his time travel.
Yeah, he needs to start. Yeah, he's being very selfish lately, and they need to start abusing that.
Well, they need to. They need to stop using it as a crutch too.
Yeah,
and start implementing reasons for him not to use it.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was a fantastic episode. Actually, I'm back on board with Arrow after the first episode too.
Yeah.
Dude, all they needed to do was give me some gadget arrows. I got 3 gadget arrows in one episode.
Did one of them have a boxing glove in the front of it?
No, but one was a parachute. There was an... But think about this. Okay, hold on. He starts fighting... Tyrese from The Walking Dead shows up. Chad Coleman. Like, he's one of the villains. It's pretty awesome. And it's pretty funny because they do a straight Walking Dead reference to where he has a baseball bat in his hand and he starts going eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. But he's a really good villain. The Flash is like fighting him in a helicopter, falls out of the helicopter, shoots an arrow that bursts into a giant parachute. And then he had a bunch of arrows that, like, he had a hacking arrow that he shot at like a bomb, and like these prongs come out and go into the bomb and like hack the bomb.
That's fantastic. That's like classic Green Arrow right there.
Like, he shoots the arrow and the prongs come out and just like, I don't know how they're hacking the bomb, but they're doing it.
But they are. It's the hacker arrow. Everybody just calm down, all right?
My sister asked an awesome question too when we were watching the show. She was like, we'll usually text each other back and forth. She goes, "How does he know which arrow is which?" And it's a good question. Like, when he's fallen out of a helicopter, right, and he's got to grab for his parachute arrow. How does he know he's not going to shoot the hacker arrow and then he's dead? Like, he's falling and he shoots the boxing glove and he's like, "Oh shit."
I like the I like the Hawkeye reasoning for it, that his like quiver actually moves and changes so he can pick the arrow before he grabs it.
Yeah, right.
I think it was in the first Avengers they show it, where he actually does something and does it.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
What's the tips on the arrow, right? Is that what he does or something?
Yes. The quiver actually connects the tips. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I like that
explanation. That'd be the best way to do it. I would like. I mean, if he has like notches in the quivers, or like in the arrow, like the frilly end of the arrow where the feathers are. I don't know what the hell that's called. So I'm not an archer, but I don't know any of these. Like, you know, where the feathers and the.
Everybody else is an archer. Why aren't you?
Yeah, like the little tail end of it. I don't know.
Are you the speedster?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's that like comic book hand waving where you just don't question it, and.
Well, yeah, it's like in the comics when he has the punching bag arrow. Yeah. I always question, like, how did that fit in his quiver? And how does he not pull every arrow out when he grabs it? But it's just like, I don't care. It's so amazing, I don't care.
How do you fit a whole parachute in the tip of an arrow? You don't. It just doesn't happen. You need a backpack for parachutes. That's why they come in back.
Pin particles. You know, that's the reason for everything.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. This is DC. What's the atom particles? Whatever he does.
It helps to be Dr. Palmer's friend in the DC universe. Yeah, so, and there's a part, like, Diggle's not around right now because he's fighting, he's, like, went back to Iraq, or went back to war, and, they, like, him and Arrow kind of Skype each other for a little bit. It was kind of funny. It was almost like they were just having a real conversation, that they weren't acting, they were just Skyping each other.
I don't know if anyone can hear it, but my dog is losing his damn mind.
Yeah, your house is probably haunted or something.
Alright, we can go on.
It is Halloween time. So Gotham got pretty... I mean, Gotham's is good. I mean, I'm getting kind of sick of Gotham, but the Mad Hatter showed up last episode, and that was pretty good.
I'm just waiting for Season 2 to hit Netflix for that one.
Yeah. And, you know, it's... there's a lot of characters I dislike on Gotham, but then there's a lot of characters I like. It's not anywhere. It's on a whole different platform of the whole CW shows. You know, it's its own thing for me.
It has its audience though, because I know a few people that really love it. My friend Chelsea loves it. My father always tells me about it. Like, oh, it's the Mad Hatter this season, Chris. Like,
your dad is like the
all
Mad
right,
Hatter.
Dad.
Did you hear?
I'm like, well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Dad. And I know a ton of people, like, they have an audience, so there's people that love it.
Well, there's people at work that love it that don't watch any of the comic book shows, so they're doing something right.
It helps that it's basically a cop procedural show with supervillains. I mean,
yeah, it does help. Did you see the Iron Fist trailer that dropped at Comic-Con?
Oh yes, I did.
It looks awesome. I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah. It reminded me so much of the first Daredevil trailer we saw, like before season 1.
Yeah,
where it's just like they give little tidbits, and then they show like him doing certain things that are Iron Fist related, and then they
showed him with the flaming fist. Oh,
yeah, and they ended with the tattoo on his chest.
Yes,
but they never gave you the mask, like the actual suit that he wears. So I feel like that's going to be like the end of the season thing. Like that's going to be the Daredevil last episode reveal. But yeah, it was awesome.
So, who do you think that was talking during the trailer? Because I think I know what character that was.
I have no clue.
I think it's Lei Kung.
I've read a entire zero.
Oh,
Iron Fist comics.
I was more excited for the audio because that was definitely the Thunderer who trains him giving that speech. Like, I don't think it could have been anybody else besides the Thunderer. It was by far one of my favorite. I've said this a lot of times. My favorite Marvel character, because I actually like Iron Fist. I was excited, and to hear at the panel that they brought out the Defenders at the end of the Iron Fist panel, and then Sigourney Weaver was there, and they announced her as the villain for the Defenders.
I mean, I was already in on Defenders, but when they showed that, like, I love
versus superheroes.
I love the Aliens movie, like all three of them, or all four of them actually. Like, I love all of them. I don't care. I'm gonna take all the shit online. I love those movies. They're so much fun. I love Sigourney Weaver. I think she's just an awesome actress and has like such a badass like feel to her. I can't wait to find out who she's going to be.
I say it like I said this, that Sigourney Weaver for me is like, you know how you have Bruce Willis with Die Hard, you have Arnold Schwarzenegger with Terminator. Like, it's Sigourney Weaver with Aliens. Like, she can hold her own just like any of those guys in those action movies.
Yeah, and
she's just as badass.
The fourth movie like holds a very special place to me. I know it's a bad movie, but I'll never forget. I went to go see. I forget what the movie before it was, but I went to go see this movie with my father, and it was the first time like he'd introduced me to the idea of, and hopefully we don't get sued for this, but the idea of like theater jumping. And I'm like 10 years old. So he's just like, let's just go over here and watch it. And we started watching Aliens. We watched it all the way through until we got to about almost the end when somebody came in and actually checked our tickets. And as a 10-year-old watching your father be like, oh, I'm confused. I'm just an old man. Like trying to pull it off.
You're just like, Dad, stop.
I'm just like, what the hell is going on?
Oh, this isn't where I parked my car.
So, it's the old Seinfeld thing. Like, I'm confused. I don't know where I am.
I don't know where I am.
So that movie will always be like special to me because of that moment.
That's great. That is great. That'll make the movie for you. That's awesome.
That's why I can't wait for that whatever Covenant or whatever that new one is they're making.
Yeah.
Like, I'll eat up any Aliens movie they put out.
I'm glad she's back to acting because I don't think she's done anything in a while. I could be wrong, but I haven't checked. I haven't checked my facts, so I could be wrong.
That was the most excited I was for anything during NYC.
We don't know who she's playing yet, though. I mean, there's probably been speculation, but...
No, but I'm down with it.
Wouldn't it be cool if it was like...
Excuse me.
Because Thanos has a bunch of generals, right?
Kind of. I mean,
right? Doesn't he have like...
I mean, think Darkseid. It's the same idea.
Yeah, so he has like henchmen. So I mean, they could really weed out one of those henchmen and put him in the... to where they would actually have to team up if it was like an extraterrestrial type of person instead of just like a kingpin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to like. There's a bunch they could do that would be cool. I don't think you want to do someone that powerful for that group, but
yeah, I
mean, we'll see.
Okay, so we're to the comic news finally. Oh, Ash! I'm on episode. I just watched episode 2 of Ash vs. Evil Dead. That show. All I have to say is, you didn't think it could get any gory or more ridiculous than it got last season, but he literally gets attacked by corpses' intestines, and then the intestines pull him up and through the corpse's butthole. Yes. That happened. So basically he's looking for the Book of the Dead, like it got hid in a morgue, and so like this corpse it wrapped like the intestines around the book, and he gets the book, and then the intestines start attacking him and like start pulling him towards the ass, and like the guy's dick is like hitting him in the face while he's like, oh my god, it's just bad, it's crazy. So like he gets pulled up through, and then like the corpse has already been dissected because they're in a morgue, so he's like wearing this corpse while he's like running around. He's like wearing this corpse on his head. It was the most ridiculous scene I think I've seen out of anything. Oh, dude, they get it though. They get their audience so well. It's fantastic. That show is just, oh man. And everyone needs to watch Ash vs. Evil Dead. And like at the end of it, someone calls him an asshole, and he's like, "Don't ever mention the word asshole when I'm in the room ever again." It's so good. It's fantastic. And when they said it was a lot more gory than the first season, I think that was the scene they were talking about. You can't get much worse.
Yeah, that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, but anyways, comic books. I attended the Bat Family panel, like I said. I think for the whole Batman series, we're over that whole Night of Monsters thing. And they did drop some hints about Watchmen. Apparently there's been hints that the Watchmen are going to show up in the Batman book. But Tom King said that issue 9 of Batman, we're going to get a little hint of that. And I think it's going to happen in the Detective Comics that comes out around that time, too. But there is going to be some type of Watchmen interaction, which is going to be cool. Obviously, the big announcement was the Batwoman book coming back, and it's cool to see that people are excited about Batwoman returning.
Yeah.
And they're kind of doing her origin. They're calling it a few issues Batwoman Begins, I think. And they've confirmed that Alfred's daughter, Julia Pennyworth, is going to be in it as well, that character from Batman Eternal. Which I thought she was pretty cool. I'm glad they're bringing her back.
Yeah, she was one of the standouts from Eternal.
Yeah.
One of the very few standouts.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's some little things you can grasp there. Oh, they also announced for Detective Comics, they showed a screenshot of Batwing. Batwing's coming back.
Oh, people will be excited for that.
Yeah, I like Batwing. I think he's awesome. I love his suit. Yeah, but other than that, oh, I forgot a huge announcement. I'm sorry, for movies. Did you hear about the sequel to Batman: The Caped Crusader?
Yes, I forgot about that too. So
there was a big announcement after the viewing of The Caped Crusader at Comic-Con. they've announced there's already plans for a sequel, probably just because of all the hype for the first one everybody's putting out.
And
for the second one,
they couldn't have done a more amazing thing for the second one.
It's going to be Two-Face, which, if you know, Two-Face never made it to 60s Batman, but they wrote that comic book because they had a script for it and they never actually shot the episode. But it's Two-Face voiced by William Shatner. Could you want anything more out of a movie besides you can't? You just take everyone's money and just cash in.
Just the idea, I love it. It couldn't have been a more brilliant casting. 'Cause it was like, who was really big back then?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he's still huge, but who was like on top of the world back then that wasn't on that show?
Yeah,
William Shatner. I was so happy.
And his voice, like, hearing him, I'm like, I don't think I wanted this any more than I do right now.
It's one of those things where, like, I had no idea I wanted this so much.
Yeah. It's like, where do I pre-order? Do I pre-order now? Or... the Cape Crusader has to be coming out pretty soon. I'm going to see if I can go buy that at the store somewhere.
Yeah, I have a distinct feeling that needs to be a drunken commentary.
Yeah, the Cape Crusader for sure. Drunken commentary, here we come. Yeah, so there was a Wildstorm is coming back for DC. That was pretty big news too if you're a Wildstorm fan.
Yeah, and I like the idea that they're spinning them out of the DC universe again. Like, they didn't fit too well with the DC universe.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a whole universe there that'll be pretty cool. I forgot how many heroes. There's quite a few heroes that are involved in Wildstorm.
Yeah, and it basically gives, because for a while now, Marvel, I mean, they both do it to each other, but Marvel's been doing Squadron Supreme, which is basically DC inside of Marvel. And this gives DC a chance to do Marvel with the DC logo on it.
Yeah, and it's fine. Like, I claim to know a lot about DC Comics, but I really don't know shit about Wildstorm, so I might pick up the book, I might not, I don't know.
Basically, all I need to know is Wildstorm is Jim Lee leaving Marvel when they formed Image, so he created his own Marvel universe.
I mean, that's
You're
all you need
caught up.
If it's like a play on the Marvel heroes, or like a parody of them, I'll definitely read it just to be like, oh yeah, I noticed that Spider-Man. I know that's
Yeah, well, the big one he did was because it's all Jim Lee. You would actually probably enjoy picking up the originals because it's all Jim Lee.
Yeah, all Jim Lee artwork.
I forget the actual team's name, but he basically did the X-Men.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's interesting stuff, but you gotta remember it's early '90s comics too.
Oh, was it like I remember there was one called like back for Image Comics, like Death Force or something. I can't remember.
There's so many because all those guys basically came from Marvel, and they all just created their own Marvel characters.
There's like hundreds of them.
Yeah.
So the Batwoman ongoing announced. Also, they're gonna have a '60s Batman crossover comic book with Wonder Woman.
Yeah, which is a great idea. 77 Wonder Woman with 66 Batman.
Dude, I'm excited. I'm gonna buy that. I can't wait. I picked up, so Attack on Titan had like an anthology book that was it's gonna be coming out, but there was an exclusive New York Comic Con version that had like gold lettering on it, so of course I had to have it.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of DC writers that did some of the short stories. Still, like Scott Snyder did one of the stories. Gail Simone did one. There's another one with the old Batgirl team, like Babs Tarr and Fletcher. Or I think is that I think that's his last name. But they all came back and they're all doing stories, like little one-shot stories about Attack on Titan, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like how the creator of that has been open to Americanizing his content a little bit.
Yeah,
and allowing
it's awesome.
Yeah, and allowing American writers and artists to dabble with it. Like, there was a Free Comic Book Day issue a while back, and it was Attack on Titan meets the Marvel Universe. And it was a lot of fun. It was quick and super fun.
And it's cool because it's in comic book format. Like all the colors, all the pages are colored, and it reads the same way.
Left to right.
I think it's a lot of it has to do with. I always thought they were part of like Viz Media, like all the big names are, but I doubt that they're not. It's like, oh, so maybe they're a smaller company and the guy can kind of do what he wants with his content.
Yeah, I'm not
sure.
I'm not into the intricacies of Japanese comic industry, but it seems to me like they're starting to open up a little bit more.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome. I think that's all I have for.
Yeah, the only other big announcements comic-wise was Richard Rider coming back as Nova. So if you like Nova, that's happening.
Oh, the original Nova?
Yeah. I didn't see
pretty cool.
I didn't see much from Marvel outside of that. They mostly focused on Netflix and Doctor Strange.
I don't really have a pick of the week or like a comic that I liked because I'm really kind of behind on my comics. Yeah, that's just about it. I haven't picked them up because I've been so busy.
Yeah, I've been really behind too, but the one big one that I can pick out for this week is Death of X, and it's. I'll take the jokes, but it's Marvel hasn't even finished the last crossover, and this is kind of the beginning of the next one.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
and they're pitting the Inhumans against the X-Men, and this is kind of the introduction to that whole how that's going to come about and everything. So it was interesting, even as somebody who doesn't really enjoy X-Men or Inhuman stuff.
that's pretty cool. Obviously, the X-Men have to win.
Actually, I think it's going to wipe out most of the X-Men and leave a very small group and have the Inhumans be the victor.
Damn.
Because
is Black Bolt showing up?
Because as we all know, Marvel wants to shove Inhumans down our throats.
Yeah, they're trying. They're like, well, if we kill off all the X-Men, all you have left is these Inhumans.
Although I heard a great quote the other day that is kind of true, and it was basically Inhumans are to Marvel as the New Gods are to DC. Like, nobody cares, but they keep shoving it down our throats.
Dude, I love the New Gods. Okay?
No, you don't.
Slow right down.
No, you don't.
I like the New Gods. I don't care for storylines of the New Gods, but I like when they show up and like kick people's asses and then just leave. But like, as for the lore of all the characters with the Allfather and stuff, I don't really care for any of that.
Yeah, so you don't really care about the New Gods.
I do like Orion though. I think Orion's badass. Just kind of like for the Inhumans, I only like Black Bolt. I kind of only like Orion for.
Yeah.
But I think it's time for that shitty villain of the week.
Oh, shitty villains.
He only appears in one issue. The issue that he appears in, he dies.
I just realized who you picked, and I'm afraid to Google it.
The villain goes by the name Snowflame.
Well, that's not what you sent me.
Yep. So he had a first and only appearance in the New Guardians #2. The issue is called Blow in the Wind. Snowflame is... They describe him as the man powered by cocaine, white-hot ecstasy.
So here's the quote that pops up on the Wikipedia. I am Snowflame. Every cell of my being burns with white-hot ecstasy. Cocaine is my god, and I am the human instrument of its will.
So he's just a guy that takes a lot of cocaine and is in top of the world.
So I could be Snowflame.
Anyone could be Snowflame. So, okay. Snowflame's first and only appearance was against the New Guardians when they attempted to stop his drug cartel. Snowflame easily bested the team in their first battle by ordering his men to shoot them. He is able to increase his strength and cover himself in white fire when he ingests cocaine.
So I have here his list of powers, and I probably have a new favorite superpower.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so his powers are listed as such. He has a unique physiology, gains superpowers upon snorting cocaine, which gives him superhuman strength, superhuman speed, immunity to pain, pyrokinesis, and my new favorite, cocaine touch.
What is cocaine touch?
If you touch Snowflame, it will give you a contact high.
Oh my god.
And his weakness is listed as a drug addiction to cocaine.
So we have found the hero where his superpower is also his weakness.
Oh my god, his suit is fantastic too.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna post a picture of him on all of our social media later, so if anyone wants to know.
Oh yeah, he's got powder all over his eyes. He's just covered. Yeah, dude. Oh my god, he just looks like he dumped his face. The picture I found, I'll send you the good picture I found on the internet. I found like him just, he takes like handfuls of cocaine and just shoves his face in it.
I just found it.
You just found it? Oh yeah, we're gonna show it to everyone.
Give up? I would sooner choke on the soils from your boots, Guardians. Snorts a bunch of cocaine, stop him before he ignites.
Oh my god. I've never done it before, but like, is that, maybe someone could fill us in. When you do cocaine, does it feel like your skin is on fire? Do you actually burst into flames? Does that actually happen?
Oh my god, this is...
Okay, so hold on. Here's some notes about Snowflame. Snowflame's religion is cocaine worship. His equipment that he carries with him is cocaine.
Well, that stands to reason.
Yeah. Until he snorts it all, then he doesn't have it. Oh my god. Well, there you have it, folks. Snowflame, the man who. It's weird how DC has all these very obscure heroes that nobody ever talks about. Yeah. So it's a guy who he snorts cocaine and beats people up.
That's the thing that happened. Oh my god.
Yeah. So that just happened. I think that just about wraps up the show for the night. We can't top that. We might have to take a long break after that because that doesn't get any better than Snowflame.
Yeah, thanks for 13 episodes. We're going to rebrand now.
Yep. That's it. We're starting the Snowflame podcast.
Oh my god, can we?
Yeah,
Snowflame fan fiction.
We just do copious amounts of cocaine and start yelling about the superhero or the villain, the supervillain that does cocaine.
Alright, everybody. So if you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, do all that fun stuff. If you're listening to us on iTunes or any other podcast, please share with your friends, give us a good review. It does help us get to more ears. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Fortress of Comic News and Twitter at Fortress News Pod. You can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter, and Mike, you are
at Ricker621. Yes.
And make sure to check out the website. We got cool stuff going up. I should have a new review going up hopefully this week. We're gonna hope. But we do have the poll posts up every week with all the new comics coming out. And trying a bunch of new stuff. And if you haven't already, check out what do we call that podcast? Game Night at the Fortress.
Game Night at the Fortress.
We have one episode up right now. I'm working on editing and getting up the next 2, so there will be more to come.
Awesome.
And anything else, Mike?
No, that's it. If you're listening to this podcast on the road, buckle up and drive safe. If you're listening to this podcast on an airplane, I hope you're a pilot and not drunk. Thank you, and good night.
Good night, everybody.